and welcome to Gardenworks for Kids. We're going to be having you in the garden today to see a little bit about what we do here at Gardenworks for Kids. We're excited about having you visit, and so we thought we would take you through the garden so you can see all the things that are changing every day. We're a garden under construction, and we use a lot of the kids' ideas in our garden, so you'll see a lot of things that are very kid-friendly. Welcome to the garden, and we're going to go on our walk right now so you can see and enjoy. Thank you. Okay, we're going to start at the beginning of the barn because that's usually where all our activity starts. Inside our barn is our learning center and our craft area, and when you come to the garden you'll notice and participate in that. But we're going to walk from the garden through all the other gardens. When we're all done here, we'll have 13 interactive kids gardens with 13 play areas so that the kids can go ahead and play. They'll be able to find different things in different gardens. So we're excited to go ahead and walk you through what we have. It's our garden in process. So we're going to go ahead and walk over here from the beginning of the barn. And you'll notice it looks like a barn. We have animals in the windows. We have plants out here. We have roosters. And we also have a fairy garden, and we're growing blackberries over the fairy garden to give it a little shade. But this is an area the kids created, and there's gnomes and fairies and everything. And this kind of uses your imagination to go ahead and create an area out of nothing. This is an old cement barrel. And then also, a lot of the things in our garden are either dumpster dived, dropped off, or donated, and we create them into something else. Over here we have a sink that was made out of a throwaway wagon. It only had 2 wheels. Couldn't figure out what to do with it, and now it's our wash station. So everything that we get, we find a use for, and so you'll see a lot of things that have been recreated in our garden. Over here in this garden is our toddler sensory garden. We're building a greenhouse right over here that we'll be able to grow our own seedlings. We have a bus, which is kind of strange, I know, that's going to turn into something else. It's going to turn into a outdoor cafe. So you can come get drinks, snow cones, a muffin, a cookie, or a snack. And that's what we're going to have for you pretty soon as we come. We have a fairy house that a lot of the kids like to play in. And it was actually on its way to the dump. And the people stopped here and asked if we could use it, and we painted it and fixed it up, and now this is an area the kids really like to play in and have tea parties in too. So we saved Mr. Turtle from 7th Street Park. They removed him out of the park after about 40 years, and now his home is here at Gardenworks, and we enjoy him here. And also, we have this from Chuck E. Cheese. We have a bear in the garden. So we have a little of everything that you can play on and enjoy. So he likes it here in the shade garden and the toddler garden. Over here is the toddler sensory garden, because we see a lot of special needs and autistic kids and just toddlers that need a space all their own. When we're done with this garden, we'll have a mud kitchen, a rubber ducky run, a racetrack, and we have the sandbox already in that's being used. So it's a neat area for the kids just to explore and play in. And then we come to the shade garden. This is a special tree because this tree is a grafted walnut. We have 2 different kinds of leaves, 2 different kinds of walnuts. It's about 75 years old, and it's always dropping nuts on your head. You have to watch out because it's time for harvest in the garden. So you're going to see a lot of nuts laying on the ground, and we crack those open. The birds and the crows like to come, and the parrots, and they'll take these. They'll take them to the street. They'll drop them and wait for the cars to run over them so that they can eat the nuts inside. So our walnut tree is very famous here. A lot of the plants in the garden don't like sun. They like it shady and cool. And during summertime, you know, that's really important. So this is our shade garden. And we have plants like blackberries and blueberries and strawberries that like a little bit cooler temperature, and also flowers too. And hidden in our garden is animals. So you'll see frogs in our garden, You will see rabbits in our garden, so you're going to need to kind of find the animals that are hidden in the garden. We have frogs and foxes, so we have a little bit of everything over here in the shade garden. We also have a skink. If you don't know what a skink is, it's a giant lizard that moves like a snake. He bites, so we have to be careful, but he's in the garden eating bugs. So we let him live here and eat the bugs, and every once in a while I'll catch him in our little red cage and the kids can see what he looks like. So this is a home to a lot of creatures, not only birds and bees, but also the skink too as well. So if you want to have a picnic or you just want to sit and relax, the picnic tables are here too. So we're going into the pirate garden now. And the pirate garden is kind of interesting because we have a pirate ship in our pirate garden. And this was built by an artist that came to the garden and visited us. And he made it out of just cement and wire. So we have a mermaid on a turtle. We have a starfish. We have an octopus. And you can slide down the slide on here. But you'll notice it's very cool looking because we have skulls on the pirate ship too. So you can climb up there, you can pretend you're a pirate. We have clothes that you can wear and eye patches, so you can actually really get into that. Over here we have a s'mores station because we do activities here. At nighttime when we have nighttime fun, we'll light up the s'mores station and you can go ahead and make s'mores. And a teeter-totter area, so if you want to go up and down with your friends, you can go ahead and do that. So this is kind of a neat area that's under construction. We have a play area. If you want to be a pirate and walk the plank, that's really good. And our sign right here kind of tells you a little bit of what area you're in. We have this really nice, what is he? He is, what is he called?
Seagull or
no, he is a vulture.
vulture?
So don't be afraid of the vulture here. He's very, very friendly. We have a shark tube, so if you want to get eaten by a shark, you can always crawl through this and stick your legs out and scream real loud. It's a really nice thing to go ahead and crawl through if you like tunnels. And we have something special over here built by a 6-year-old little boy. He loved ants, but he didn't like playing with ants because he didn't want to get bit. But he decided he was going to create an ant hill. So we let him go ahead and build an ant hill that he could play with his ants. And every once in a while, he'll bring a new ant for us to join in at the ant pile there. So over here, if you get tired or if you just want to read a good book, we have a reading station. You can go ahead and pick out a book in the library, have a seat and rock back and forth, and just have your grandma or grandpa or your parents read you a story, which is kind of nice. So you can relax and also read too. So we're going to go over here to Lizard Rocks. Now, Lizard Rocks was actually created because we wanted to use these rocks to build our waterfall. But we found that once we put the rocks down, we have 30 or 40 lizards that lay on the rocks. And this is their home, and this is where they have their babies. So Lizard Rocks is now a place the lizards have to themselves. So we're really excited about having that happen. And when it warms up during the day, we'll see more and more lizards on the rocks. But this area right here is under construction. This is our activity wall and our music wall. But if you want to be a pirate, and you don't have the clothes with you, you can just stick your heads through and you can become a pirate. And if you stick your heads on this side, you can be a fairy on the other side. This fairy garden is a project that we're working on, and we're going to put a front deck on it, an in-ground trampoline, and some riding horses. So this will be a play area once we get raise a little bit more money to go ahead and buy the materials for this area. But this is our fairy house. And so we have an activity table that is over here that we're doing, so you can play games and play with your friends. And then we also have dress-up clothes. So if you need to put on some fairy wings or dress-up clothes or pirate things, you can get dressed up and then be in character in the pirate fairy garden. So this is one of my favorite areas because Ponderific came to us and said, what can we do for you to make it more special here in the garden? So they donated their time and energy, and they created this troll bridge and also a creek so that the kids can enjoy seeing the water, but also the animals that visit would have water and to drink. We have raccoons that come in at night that wash their food. We have skunks that come. We have birds that drink regularly out of the fountain. But when we first put it in, we told the kids it was our troll bridge, and there was a mean troll that lived underneath, because every time we walk over the bridge, baby rabbits or lizards would just take off underneath it. So they thought the troll had captured them and wouldn't let them go. So they would stomp their feet as they went over the bridge. So we'll go over the bridge, and so you get a feeling of that. And then it also is an area where the gnomes like to live. So their village is right over here. So you can see all the gnomes in this garden, and it goes right into the butterfly garden. It's been kind of hot lately. We haven't. Oh, hi, Gabby. Gabby the goat is always looking out over here. So we plant plants in this garden that the butterflies like. We have a butterfly bush. We have a hibiscus. So we see a lot of butterflies in our garden because they hatch out from over here. If you see this vine over here, or this vine over right there, is our passion vine. And the butterflies love to lay their eggs in cocoons. So we'll have 50 or 60 butterflies on our passion vine. So as we walk into this area right here is our interactive play garden. So we have the ABCs you can go ahead and walk on. We have hopscotch, tic-tac-toe. We have a worm garden to dig in. We have a pizza garden where we grow everything you'd put on a pizza. And our vegetables are in our vegetable garden. Everything here we don't use chemicals on our plants, so you can pick and eat them straight from the vine. And so we try to plant things that the kids can pick and eat. I think we have green beans right now. We have carrots. We have zucchini. We have tomatoes. So we have a little of everything in the garden that the kids can taste. We have a scented garden here, an animal-themed garden. So it's basically a garden that you can play in. So we have jump rope. We have hula hoop, we have ring toss. So a garden is not only a place where you put plants, it's a garden where you can play in too. That's what's wonderful about having a Gardenworks for kids, because it's for kids and what they like to do. Okay. Gabby, come on. Come on, Gabby. No. Gabby the goat lives here, and she's being a little bit lazy this morning. Come on, Gabby. Come on. And she's staying in the shade because it's a hot day. I don't know if you can get a picture of her. But Gabby the goat is going to have 2 babies that are going to be... Oh, there she is. She loves to be photographed, to have her picture taken. So Gabby is very kid-friendly, and she loves to meet all the kids because they share her snacks with her. So she's very sweet, and she doesn't bite, so they can put things right in her mouth. Come on, Boochies. And it's hot this morning, so she's staying in the shade. So we're going to walk by right here. So you can see a little bit of the plants in the garden. Usually I have all of these filled, and we donate our extra vegetables to a manna program in Calamasa, so they have fresh fruits and vegetables. We also have a chicken coop, and we have a very special chicken right now. We're hoping to get more chickens, but this is Trixie, our resident chicken, and she's in her chicken run right now because she likes to visit the kids. She was raised by kids, so she does all these tricks. When you clap your hands, she'll jump in your arms. So when we first got her, she was a rescue chicken and didn't know that she had all these tricks up her sleeve. And she rolls over, she sits, and she jumps in your arms. So she's been trained by kids. We're in the children's orchard right now. All these trees have been planted by kids, and they're producing. This year we are getting figs. We got peaches and plums and apricots. We harvested almonds this year, so they learned how to harvest almonds. We have grapes in the garden, and we have citrus and pomegranate. So we have a lot of different things, and also apples too. Most of them have been picked because the kids like tasting everything that grows. And this is our slogan here at Gardenworks for Kids. Every seed planted is a miracle just waiting to happen. And we try to stress that here at the garden, that every seed we plant just turns into something beautiful. So here's our yellow brick road. It's kind of a neat thing because it's hard to stay on the yellow brick road without falling off. So kids always like walking the yellow brick road. And there's a couple chickens here in the garden with Trixie. I had said before that we can grow anything here. We can grow fruits and vegetables. We can grow palm trees. We can grow cactus. So we can grow a little bit of everything. And I think over here we have a grapefruit that's coming in. So you can see those, and then also oranges over here too. So we're growing a little bit of everything. The grapes have been picked through. I think the last of them, oh, there we go, are little tiny ones that are left over and hidden. Not only do kids like to eat grapes, but also bunny rabbits. So we see the baby bunnies come in the afternoon. Okay, so this is the Wizard of Oz garden right now, but it will transform into the Halloween pumpkin patch. So we have, the kids enjoy decorating this area up because it's a protected area from the bunny rabbits. So we have a giraffe in the garden that was donated. It's kind of creative here. And we have a tree to plant too to give us a little more shade. That's one thing that we didn't have when we first started the garden, was shade. Now this garden right here is called the Tiny Life Garden. And that's being created right now, and that's an essential oil garden so that people can learn about plants that heal. So you'll see the garden boxes being built. And then we have something special going on today because of the heat. We have water day. So we have a bounce house and water slide. This is something we try to do for the kids so that they can enjoy not only exercising, but just getting wet and cooling down. There they are. There's some kids in here. So Sullivan Party Rentals donates their bounce house and water slide so that the kids can go ahead and have a cool and fun summer. So you'll see we have lots of water and lots of ways to cool down. We have a flamingo garden under the water tank. And all these trees were planted by kids, and they were just sticks when we planted them. So every year as the kids come back, they're able to see them get bigger and bigger. As a matter of fact, these trees, when they were planted, the kids could jump over them. So now that we definitely can't do that anymore. So we have a giant bumblebee that's landed on our water tank. And if we go around this side, you'll see that we have a giant ladybug that has also landed on the tank too. So we try to incorporate color and fresh ideas in our garden so that when kids visit, they see something different every time. Going through the trees. And a lot of times in the springtime, we have the ladybugs that hatch out. We'll have millions of the ladybugs in the garden and butterflies, and they like to hang out in the trees, so they'll be able to scoop them up with their hands. We're coming to the butterfly hummingbird garden. When we are learning in the garden, we learn about the life cycles of a lot of the insects that are important in the garden, and one of them is a butterfly, which we found right here in the garden right now. And these are all plants that butterflies love. We have milkweed in there so they can go ahead and cocoon out. So we have plants that attract butterflies. So we teach the fairies from a tiny egg to a very hungry caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly. So that they can actually see the life cycle up front. Now we're going into the danger zone right now. And most people don't associate dinosaurs with gardens, but actually dinosaurs were in the first gardens on Earth. And we have dinosaurs that ate plants, so they would need to have plants in the garden. And then, of course, we have dinosaurs that were carnivores or meat eaters. So you can get in the garden. We always have a friendly greeting from the T-Rex baby over here that you can pet. We have Mr. T-Rex, who is facing the Triceratops. So we have a carnivore versus a herbivore or a plant eater. And then we have a really friendly dinosaur that you can sit on and make friends with. And if you want to see what a dinosaur land looks like, you can always look in dinosaur land, and you can see how they used to roam the earth together. We have a new member to our dinosaur garden, and he's going to be able to be ridden pretty soon. So he's in there. Now, if you were wondering what dinosaurs really look like, you can put together dinosaur bones just like scientists do to see how they figured out what dinosaurs look like. So if you match the colors, you can go ahead and put a dinosaur together. So it'll give you an idea of what the bones actually look like when the dinosaur was alive. We have Sorensaurus, which is Sorensen Engineering donated this dinosaur, the long neck, to us. So if you want to walk underneath a dinosaur's neck, you can do that. Or if you want to turn into a kid dinosaur, you can step behind the photo area and you can go ahead and become a dinosaur too. So this hillside right here, you'll see, is usually our pumpkin patch. But because of COVID this year, we didn't plant pumpkins. Last year, we had a 350-pound pumpkin. And so the kids got to watch it go from a flower into this giant pumpkin. So next year, we'll make sure we're going to plant our melons and our pumpkins over here. Okay, we're going to the last garden right now. We're going to be passing a gnome, which is our gnome garden. He's protecting this garden as well as the praying mantis. We talk about bugs in our garden, and one of the ferocious bug that we have is a praying mantis. He's a carnivore, which means he's a meat eater, and anything he can catch, he will eat. But he's kid friendly, he doesn't bite, and you can catch a lot of them in the garden. So our praying mantis is protecting his garden along with Mr. Gnome. And you'll notice there's a cow hiding in the garden and citrus trees in there too. Now this is our cactus garden. We always say this is a danger zone because some cactus are friendly, succulents you can touch, but some cactus are pretty lethal and they will poke you. So we go into this area, we learn about the things that go on in the desert. We have animals in the desert like a turtle and lizards and all of the things that grow in the desert and don't need much water. So we learn not only about vegetables and fruit and citrus trees and palm trees, we learn about cactus too. So we've enjoyed showing you the gardens. As our garden continues to grow, we're going to be doing a Harry Potter walking tree forest, a unicorn garden, and then also under the sea garden. So we look forward to doing these projects for you and getting the ideas from you too. So we are so happy to have you come visit. Thank you so much. Bye. Okay, we're at the potting station right now, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to plant succulents. They're the easiest things to do and the most fun too, because you can use your imagination and be creative. Okay, anytime that you're going to plant a succulent garden, it's always good that you can pick things out of the garden. So I've already picked some succulents out of the garden to go ahead and plant. One wonderful thing about planting succulents, they don't need roots, they don't take preparation, they just take a hand and a creative mind. So we're going to start with our gardens, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a fishbowl garden. Everything that I show you is something that you can get at the local 99-cent store or Dollar Tree. It's cheap, inexpensive, makes great gifts. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some potting soil in the bottom. I just picked out a little jar. If you have a bowl at home that you can use. We don't need drainage so much for succulents because they don't use much water. You only water them once a week to keep them moist. So we're going to go ahead and add some potting soil in there. A lot of times I'll mix sand in with cactus or succulents because they like a drier soil. But today we're going to use some potting soil. Now, when we do this, you're going to pick out something that looks, we're going to do it under the sea garden, which is really nice because kids love to do them because they can decorate them. So what I'm doing is I'm adding stickers on there to kind of make it look like a fish bowl. So we're putting fish and just tropical things on there, moving our glass bowl around and kind of ironing them up so they stick nice and easy on there, and kind of gives you that idea of the ocean and fish. So we're going to go ahead and put those on there so it does look like almost like a fish tank. So here we go. So we got our stickers on. It's real easy to do. We're going to pick out a couple succulents. I have jade right here. Now jade is really interesting because in Japan and China, jade is considered a good luck succulent. And when each family has a jade plant, and then when they have visitors, they go ahead and break off a piece when it's time for them to go, and they send good luck home with them. So it's kind of a great tradition to go ahead and carry on in your succulent gardens. So we're going to go ahead and take a succulent. Just make sure you have a little base that you can stick in. It doesn't need roots. It doesn't need to have to grow. And then I also have hens and chicks is what these are called. And a lot of the succulents, how you grow them, I always grow like a pizza garden. I'll lay the extra leaves in there and just lay them there, and they go ahead and turn into baby plants. And then as they get bigger, I use them. So I'm going to go ahead and use a succulent to put in here, which is called hens and chicks. Looks like a flower. Nothing spiky on this at all. And then I'm going to stick that in there. Now, when I have that in there, it already looks beautiful. But with kids and adults, we always want to make it a little more creative. So we are going to go ahead and add some simple things you might have around the house. Some pretty rocks. We're going to put some little plastic sea things in there. Also a crab, so it looks a little bit more genuine in there, or lobster. Some sparkles, because kids always like sparkles. Put some sparkle marbles in. Usually the more color, the more fun it is to do. And then we have some, if you go to the beach and you have extra seashells, you can put some seashells in there. So that when you're all done, you have a garden that only is functional and growing. You have a garden that actually looks like it came from the ocean. And I always like to put something in there too. This one says, suck it up, you got this, because we are doing a succulent garden. And another fun thing that you can do is you can make saltwater starfish, and you can put it right next to it. So when you're all done, you can put a name tag in there. You can give this as a gift or just set it on your table, and it costs under $2 to make. So it's something easy to do. Also, you can use different things for succulents. You can use different pots. A strawberry pot works really good. You can go ahead and fill it up. You can go ahead and add succulents in here so that you have this beautiful craft garden from a strawberry pot, and that also makes a great garden too. And with everything else, you can use just a plain bowl that you find. You can add soil to it. And these usually only take about 5 minutes to make or less. We'll fill them up. We'll put our succulent in. And a lot of times I will use rocks too. And I'll go ahead and put rocks around this. We have some sprinkles here just to add some color. I'll go ahead and add some rocks and some sparkles. And you can add some lava rocks. You can use paving rocks, whatever. The reason we put rocks along the top a lot of times with succulents is when you water it, it doesn't rinse away the soil. So when we are all done, you also have a beautiful bowl that you can put in there. You can put a name tag in there, and there's all different kinds that you can use. If you want to use a tall succulent, this one is called a starfish. And even though it looks like a worm, it has roots and everything. When it has a flower, it has a little envelope. And when the flower opens up, it looks like a tiger, a leopard skin flower. It's really beautiful. It looks like an envelope when it comes out. So we can go ahead and stick that in this little garden too. And then, as we said before, just stick it in. You don't have to worry about anything else except making it look beautiful, and set that on your tabletop, and then you have a succulent garden to go. So don't be afraid of succulents. They're very forgiving. You can create floral arrangements in flat pots. You don't need a thick bowl. It can be just a very narrow bowl that you fill up with soil, and they don't need much room to grow in. So get very creative. Go ahead and use your imagination, and you can create something that's really magical at home. Thank you. So don't think that succulent gardening is a hard job. Go ahead and enjoy the experience, and I hope you enjoyed learning how to make your succulent garden. Here you go. Okay, we're inside the barn right now, and we love it in here because we've transformed the barn into a learning place that we have learning time and crafts. We also read stories, and one of my favorite stories right now is by Joanna Gaines and kids. It says, "We are gardeners." So if you have a chance to go ahead and find this book in the bookstore, it's something that you would really enjoy reading to the kids, because it tells a little bit of a story on how they got started gardening. Just like Gardenworks for Kids, how we got started. It was just an idea that kind of took hold, and people told us in the beginning it was the impossible possible garden, because we had no money, we had no place, and doors opened and special people came into our lives, and we were able to create a garden that we used children's ideas to go ahead and create gardens in our area. If we wanted a dinosaur garden, we created one, and we have one for the boys last year that went ahead and we were able to do that. The girls are working on a unicorn garden right now and creating the ideas for that. So Gardenworks for Kids is a special place, and where you can take time to read a story, you can take time to explore, to build, and to create. So it's for us, story time is special. Sometimes we'll have milk and cookies and just read a story. We are also writing a story called Daisy in the Garden that will be coming out soon. So with whatever is happening in the garden, it can create other memories too. We enjoyed having mansion memories come to the garden, and making this a magical place for all kids to enjoy and to experience. So we love having you here, and hope that you come and visit us and see all the changes that are happening in the garden, and that you continue to support local nonprofits that are there for the children. During this pandemic, we were deemed to be essential, because our kids are in crisis right now. They've had everything taken away from their schools, their teachers, their grandparents, their playgrounds, and their ability to play with friends. Coming to the garden, we're able to go ahead and address these issues and let the kids be kids, and just to hear their voices in the garden has been a wonderful thing. So we look forward to seeing you soon, and experience the beauty that always occurs in the garden. And just remember again, every seed planted is a miracle waiting to happen. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for visiting us today at Gardenworks for Kids. We look forward to seeing you in the garden, and hope you enjoyed our program. Gloria?
And if you guys want to check out more of what we have to offer, you can visit our Facebook page or our Instagram page. We post everything going on in the garden and sign-ups for new things. And if you have any questions, you can call us at 909-838-9430.